I missed the driveway back,
Right.
while
So
we
it's the same thing.
yeah, going down the hill.
Wow.
So some guy had a record there, occasionally pointing me out.
There you go. We got.
I made it down to the office, walked into the office, 35 minutes, phone rang, they said, that's too much snow, we're not gonna have it.
All right, let's all rise, please. This is the meeting for the public hearing for the city of Ellsworth for Monday, September the 23rd. Let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, this public hearing is for the presentation of the 304 North Douglas condemnation. We're gonna have to get a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to open the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Counselor Pander has made a motion to open the public hearing. Counselor Bernard has seconded that motion. Would anybody like to speak on this subject? Dustin, would you like to provide a little background?
Perhaps, Mayor, if I may, I'd like to open and.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Hello.
Hi.
This is one that we've been working on since October of last year. I talked to him and told him that garage either be tore down or fixed, well, obviously be fixed. So he had last January, he had a contractor that was gonna tear it down. They put it off till they couldn't disconnect the gas line. It was too cold for the reporter office. So, the contractor asked me if they could wait, and I said, yeah. And all summer, I guess the contractor's been trying to get a hold of the Davises, and they haven't returned, and so he's kind of give up. So we, petitioned for condemnation. And the bad part is it's a garage and it's part of the Ellsworth reporter office. So that's something to keep in mind too. But I don't know if you've all seen the building, it's beyond repair, garage. It's a danger right now. Question, yeah.
I mean, can that part of it be salvaged? The newspaper part or is it?
I mean, yeah, it could. But I don't know how you can have a building though, it's connected.
Maybe we should speak to the attorney on that one.
Yeah.
Don't remind me, is this the hearing to just condemn the building? This isn't the one to actually demo it yet, right? Or
It's still condemned.
Okay,
This is,
so in our code, under our code, once we formally condemn it, we don't have to physically tear it down right away. Do we?
we don't have to.
It just gets so, right. By condemning the building, you're saying that legally it is condemned in an unfit state, but that doesn't mean that the city has to immediately take it on ourselves to hire someone to tear it down. The owner could still have the opportunity to repair it or fix it, even after it's been condemned.
So they can occupy it.
No, they can't occupy it. They can't occupy it, but they can, but we're not gonna go out tomorrow. The city crew's not gonna go out and tear it down. We might at some point get bids, see if somebody else wants to tear it down. I guess my point is, because I've run into this other places, the owner could still have some time to make a repair, demo it themselves. Unless we could come back at a future time and ask you guys to send it out bids, what it would cost to demolish it. We don't have to, so just declaring it tonight doesn't mean that we automatically go out and do it.
But declaring it a dangerous structure, then the reporter still occupying.
They should not.
We're separate from that garage. We have nothing to do with the garage.
But it's all on
It's
building.
one building.
Just so we just break down the walls.
I'll take it back to the city inspector. If it's unsafe for them to be in, then they can't be in there.
No, it's not unsafe for me where they're at. I'm just,
Yeah.
okay.
So there's nothing in, no, nothing. Nothing.
He was working on it today. Rick was,
Oh, he was?
Rick was over there. I don't know what he was doing, but I didn't see him over there when I left for lunch.
We might as well just condemn it, but maybe, at least we get that. Yeah, on it. I mean, it's trash, so.
We've
The
never-
downside is what I think he's saying is that if we condemn the garage, we also condemn the independent
do we?
reporter too, yeah.
That's how it's written out. It's just one-
Oh, okay, we'll
it's just-
rewrite it. Yeah.
It's one structure on our, we could, if that's your motion. If the inspector says it's safe for them to be on the other side, so we could maybe have to modify this resolution, and just say. The garage is condemned.
Yeah,
Yeah, because as far as I know, we're fine where we're at.
Yeah,
Well,
that's,
I rely on the city inspector, but I appreciate that.
no, there's not dangerous structure where they're actually at. It's just, like I said, it's all one building.
So I guess when we, I guess if the council wishes that, you would have a motion to accept this resolution with modification that the non-garage should not be condemned.
is that gonna work? All right,
As long as they say it's all right.
yeah,
I think when it came down to actually demolishing it, then we'd have to see if somebody could bid it that. They may not be able to bid it that way. That might be a different problem.
Yeah.
We could do that tonight.
but it would keep people from maybe going in and messing around.
Nobody should be in the garage portion that's falling down. Nobody.
Yeah.
Well, here's Mr. Davis.
Oh, we have to talk.
Anyway, I give our city's one. You hear when we should say, turn to the garage.
Did I miss something?
Yeah. 5:15.
Come on up, Rick, you take your time, come on up.
Don't live on my phone.
Particular here.
No, you pose right.
Okay. That's fine. Well, I'm not sure what it is that I've missed, and I apologize. I was actually under the impression I was be here at 5:30, but so be it. As far as the issue at hand, the building that we own, that 304 North Douglas, we've owned for roughly 15 years. Give or take a little bit, and when we moved in, there was already an issue within the garage. Where the floor was sinking a little bit. We had a couple of different people take a look at it and try and give us an idea of what was going on, and in the end, it was our son, who is a construction science person who just recently graduated from school at that time, and so he took a look at it and he said that, yeah, it's basically settled, is what's going on. As far as, the remedies to fix it, we're, looking at a couple of different options, which were actually spurred on by us wanting to renovate the back of the building and ultimately either look for long-term renters or, actually, just maintain the place ourselves. As far as the, issue at hand, I'm not totally certain that I understand the specifics to it, because there is no hazard. Our son said that, no, there's no concern from a construction perspective that says that it's imminently going to fall. There are some bricks that were dislodged on what would be the south wall of the building. And that's because the mortar has, I think, outlived its lifespan. I don't know what the lifespan of concrete or cement is, but it looks like a lot of it had again expired, and so it's gone a little bit soft. Our son said that that we should consider looking at demoing the entire building or the back of the building, because it can't be salvaged. That there's too much that has to be done with the ground underneath the garage slab. And so, we actually started to, work with a couple of different contractors. Actually had, a bid from one and we're set to go forward and, a family situation changed that for that person. And so, it's kind of put the project on hold from our end. I have spent a little bit of time trying to tidy it up a little bit. Ivy that is again on the south side of the building, that has grown partway up, probably 3/4 the way up to the top of the building, is, helping to support, some of the bricks, that, again, where the concrete or whatever. Those of you that are in construction understand better than I what the stuff is that we use in between bricks. But anyway, and so, yeah, we've just been cleaning it up so that, it looks presentable. And, are continuing to, evaluate what, go forward plans we're going to do in terms of, the remodel, of the building. I guess what I skipped over was, the independent reporter is a renter of ours. And, part of the delay in us moving forward is because of some of the issues that they're having with the back of the building. When they had the fire, we, offered the building to them, at no rent. Did that for, I believe, 4 or 5 years. And then, they started paying rent, which they are now. And, again, their issue is the settling is causing some issues with the back of their office space. And so we're evaluating exactly what we want to do, what they want to do, and, how we're planning on going forward. How would I do? Did I give you the information that you wanted or needed or questions?
Any questions for Rick? Thank you for coming, Rick. Appreciate
Okay,
it. Yeah.
yes, it's already late.
That's all right. No, it's all right. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So with that said, anybody else from the public like to speak on this issue? We don't have anybody else. Let's go ahead and have a motion to close this meeting.
I'll make the motion to close the meeting.
All right. Councilor Panzer has made a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
Councilor Renard has seconded that motion to close the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
I'm gonna run and get my drink out of the truck. I got 2 minutes.
Okay.
There you go.
We probably do need to adjourn the meeting, right? We can probably do this on camera. Make a
Yeah.
motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the public hearing.
I'll second.
All right, Councilor Renard has made a motion to adjourn the public hearing. Councilor Coates has seconded that motion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries.
Do we have a copy of that resolution? Yes. Is it in our email? Yes. Wait, when was it sent? Because all I saw was a Zoom link. I think I see the part of it. I have the Zoom link to the public hearing and regular council meeting, but I couldn't see.
It's coming your direction.
The resolution was part of this. Okay, it's sorry, the regular. Okay, I was looking for something to put it separate.
Gotcha.
Can you remind us to sign this?
Okay, yeah, I can. I think we're almost at time. Another minute. Are you ready to do it again? All right, let's all rise, please. This will be for the regular council meeting for the city of Ellsworth for September the 23rd. Let's say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just as a reminder, if you haven't signed in, if you could sign in, most of you have. Greatly appreciate it. Please silence your electronic devices too. And just keep in mind that the very back table, the acoustics, it's really loud when you have a conversation. Gonna have to do a roll call tonight. So you want to start with Darcy?
Here.
Don?
I'm here.
Aaron?
Here.
Jessica?
Here.
Tyler?
Here.
Okay, first item, consent agenda. We've got the water and sewer termination requests. Are there any?
There's two.
Two, okay. We also have the advisory board minutes from September 2024, the budget and R&R public hearing. Minutes from September the 9th and the regular council meeting from September the 9th as part of the consent agenda. That's some matters. Roll swap, but yes.
Yeah.
That's tasking. That's. That's. That's.
There,
That's. You're really bad. Yeah. You're using what they don't.
Anybody say anything? All right, Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda. As written on the.
Counselor Bernard has made a motion to approve the consent agenda. Counselor Hanson has seconded that motion. Any concerns or any corrections that need to be made? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next, part of our agenda will be petitions and delegations. This is an opportunity to public to contribute. 5 minutes of their thoughts. They need to be, for all comments, please state your full name and whether you're an Ellsworth City resident. All comments are limited to 5 minutes per subject unless city council has further questions. Would there be anybody who'd like to speak? Come on up, Shannon.
Good evening. I'm Jan Von Prager. I'm not a city resident, but I own property here and I work for the Pines Apartments, the Ellsworth Housing Authority. And I've got a couple of items that tie together, and I really want to address the whole body here, the city of Ellsworth. I know in the paper we've been reading a lot back and forth about whether to increase the tax and the mill levy and this kind of thing. And what I would like to encourage everybody to do is to come to these city council meetings, because Alan does a great job printing a story in the paper, but he doesn't get the full conversation. If he were to do this verbatim, it would be, what, a 10-page paper just on this topic, but he does great covering all of that. but you also don't get the tone of the meeting. And so, and I'm not gonna encourage you to vote one way or the other. What I want to encourage you to do is come to the city council meetings and see what goes on. And and I'm gonna segue that into, I want to say a thing, it's not a thing, it's a great program that Dustin has started. And it's a citizenship class, and it's open for the community, and I have just completed this class, and it's amazing. You know, you think you know what goes on in the city, you think you know what goes on in each department, but you know what, you don't. And this class is just amazing because we got to learn about every department affiliated with the city. We got to hear from those staff members, what they do, what their job entails. And we got to tour the different facilities and sites, and it just really is very eye-opening. What saddened me about the class that we just came through is that I was the one there with the greatest longevity in this community. And I think it's very important for people that have been here their whole lives, because there are things that we don't know about that each department does, and it's amazing. One of the greatest ones that I learned, and this is gonna be weird because, like everybody else, I'm thinking, why are we watering the golf course during a water crisis? Well, what I learned in this class, and it was our last department that we went to, was that the majority of the golf course, well, let me just say, they've got the greatest recycling program. Because the majority of the golf course is watered with gray water. And if you know what that is, that's what we flush down the drains, you know, when you take a shower, when you do whatever. And if they don't utilize that, it goes to a lagoon to evaporate. So they're utilizing a great resource. So I just want to encourage everybody, if you get the opportunity, he's going to offer it again, I think. Take him up on it. It's great opportunity, learning opportunity for our community. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anybody else like to come forward? Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Richard Jones.
Hey,
I'm
Richard.
not a resident of Ellsworth, but I do own a property in Ellsworth. And, is the item gonna be put on the agenda this evening?
It is on the agenda. Do you want to do it in 5 minutes, or you want to come back and do it during the agenda? This is the parking lot issue.
Yep.
Yeah,
Your choice. You can either go right now.
let's get it taken care of.
Okay. All right, yeah, okay.
All right, we purchased the property from, Golden Plain Credit Union. When I purchased it, I called Dustin and asked him about, what the contract was like with the city of Ellsworth using the parking lot. And, he sent me a contract, and the last contract was in 2003. And, it was zero cost of the city. They maintained the parking lot and everything. But that was with it being a public parking lot with no liability insurance covered by the city. Well, I wasn't keen at that idea for the fact of liability. And I talked to Dustin about, what I wanted to do. And my proposal was $200 a month. About 14 people park in that parking lot every day. I think approximately 10 of them were city employees and four were other public, entities. He sent me back, he's recommended 200 a year, and I was like, yeah, that's not good. And that was totally because of the public parking issue. I would like to propose that the city use the parking lot for zero expense. My wife and I talked about it on the way back from our vacation, and I don't want to put the city out. I mean, but I also, with that being said, I don't want it to be used for public parking. So it'll be used for the city of Ellsworth. They'll maintain it just like they have been. And I just want to make sure everybody knows that the USD was never going to be affected by this. I called the superintendent right away and said, hey, this mainly happened because I feel like a miscommunication between me and Dustin. And I talked to Dustin about it, we talked about it today. There was a time frame there for almost probably 3 weeks that there wasn't a communication. And when Dustin sent me that proposal back at the 200 a month and all the other things, it was said right on it, said final proposal. Well, he thought we were gonna continue to negotiate. Well, final proposal tells me it's the final proposal, and that was it. And I wasn't keen on doing that, so I sent him an email that said, as of October 1st, October 1st, the city of Ellsworth could no longer park their utility vehicles or their employees there. And I kind of looked back on that, and it was probably a knee-jerk reaction, the fact that I didn't think that Dustin was communicating with me like he should. And we've talked about it, and I think we've agreed that that's probably the case, but anyway, that's where we're at. I did email Dustin and tell him about me discussing not with one individual about parking in the public parking lot, and I believe it's on your governmental comments. I personally don't think that probably should have been put out there, especially with the business because the business that rents our building had nothing to do with me contacting Dustin about the parking lot. That's totally on me. I mean, and to bring him into it, I felt was not a good thing. And, because I think that was published publicly on the website. And to me, that opens you guys up for a lot of liability when you start saying somebody's name that doesn't have anything to do with it. But anyway, is there any questions that you guys have for me about what happened?
I'm a little confused over the whole thing. I mean, when we talked about the building over there, we never talked about the parking lot. Had we ever talked about the parking lot?
No, it was just between me and him, and I was gonna present to you the final agreement if we got it.
And something else I'd like to bring up is the fact that when we did our closing on the business, the guy from Golden Plains, I don't remember his name, he told me that he had offered this property to the city of Ellsworth, and the city of Ellsworth told him they didn't want it. So then the city of Ellsworth, and I don't know who was representing the city, but according to him, the city of Ellsworth contacted them after we had already agreed on purchase price and buying it, and tried to backdoor and buy it out from under us. I don't know if that's true. That's what that man told me that day of closing. I don't know why he liked it. So anyway, that I wanted to put that out.
Yeah, who are you negotiating with? Like, do you, like, I don't know that we ever knew that there was for sale. Did anybody here know that it was for sale?
We
talked
talked about this, yeah, Ron brought it up about buying
Buying
for parking.
parking, but then we said, no,
You'd like
they're
to
not
be on
doing
vacation.
business.
Let a
Because
business.
we might want to
And
let
that's as
business
far
on
as
in
it
there.
went.
Right, so that's what I told you. That's what I remember. That's as
Okay.
far as it went.
And then we left it up to Dustin to get a hold of you and work something out, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And that's-
But are the parking lot and the business two different things?
It's
Two separate
Do you own
parcels.
building too?
Yes.
Okay,
There's two separate parcels. It's divided
Yes.
into.
okay.
So essentially, the city can park there, but nobody else can park there. But other than school activities after, at the end of the day.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's gonna police this?
We're gonna put signage up, and if they don't obey by signage, they'll get towed at their own expense.
I have a question about that. Like, when the rec kids are practicing basketball here, are they in the city or?
No, that would totally be
I just,
USD, and as far as I'm.
well, yeah, but then, okay, I just want to think we should, I don't know how far you guys are going tonight, but we should probably make clear whenever you guys do the deal, whether or not. Because we've got, as I was driving up, I saw the volleyball teams practicing, and I thought, well, are those kids' parents allowed to park in the parking lot or not park, or, you know, little details like that that we may not think about should be probably resolved.
I would think that all.
Right, the rec stuff, right? The rec stuff.
The city runs the rec, so it's not quite USD,
Yeah.
you're saying it's okay with you?
I would totally think, it's just, if there's somebody parking in that lot and it's not a USD function or rec function or the city of Ellsworth function, they're not supposed to be parking there. It's gonna be pretty simple, that lot should be empty if it's not a city function or Farnborough, business function or, the USDA functions, so.
Any questions?
It really isn't changing that much other than it's the public parking on the way. And I don't know how much it gets used. I mean, I know there's 4 or 5 cars there every day, but yeah.
And then also in our discussions, he wants an annual lease agreement, which I have no issue with. So the final agreement between him and I, by an email and this afternoon, we agree on liability insurance. We also agree on the city helping out and maintaining the parking lot. That includes weed mitigation, that includes rock, that includes snow removal when it happens. We'll help out with ice, etc. And I personally have no issues with this proposal after we discuss it this afternoon. And I'll work with Patrick to design a lease agreement with all the parameters.
Do you want to do the lease agreement, or do you want, maybe get a lawyer to do it, or you guys have someone do it for you?
We can, my proposal is we'll start off by generating a lease agreement. I'll send it to you to see if you are in agreement.
Okay.
And then if you're in agreement, then I'll present the next council meeting.
All right, thank you. Appreciate
Thank you.
it.
That's all right.
Any other questions for Richard?
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
Hey, thank you for coming.
Yeah, liability insurance is something the city will add to our insurance
Okay,
as a part of the agreement.
thank you.
Thank you, Rich. I appreciate it, yeah. Back here. Anybody else, petitions and delegations like to come forward? Back there. Oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Just for one last final thing, Dustin came and spoke to us today as the tenants of the building. We do appreciate that because there was some obviously miscommunication about this issue from the start. And as the tenants, we were kind of inadvertently drug into this. We did not even know any of this was happening. There was a lot of information in that document that was written on Wednesday that was factually incorrect. And we have, from that point and from Saturday, when this was made public by another resident of the community, we have received nonstop communication from people in this community trying to get a clarification, and all kinds of different things. And just for, I guess for a matter of public record, we were not pleased with the way it was written. We were not pleased with the way it was handled. And I won't say much more about that because I do appreciate Dustin coming over and talking to us, but I do feel like that is where this started, was a miscommunication, and that was made public with on, you know, city letterhead, and it did not put us in a very good light. And so I just hope that gets resolved.
Yeah. Patrick, does that put us in any legal liability, that kind of action?
I don't believe so. I believe that there was a factual basis for why it was handled the way it was, but I don't know much more about how it all started. I kind of found out about this when I got the agenda.
It was more about the facts that were stated in there, and the some of the information in there that was, I started to highlight the things that I knew to be correct as a tenant, and having communication from the Joneses and having had communication directly with Dustin on Wednesday, the same day that document was written. And I knew that he knew that some of that information was correct, so I don't know where some of that came from. There was just too much for me to specifically point to things that were factually incorrect, but there was quite a bit, and it did not reflect well on some of us. Thankfully, it is getting corrected. Dustin has corrected some of it and omitted some of it that had no business being in that document in the first place, in my opinion, because it had to do with communications between two private business owners, and that had no business in a city document.
Absolutely not. That's horrible. Yeah, that's terrible. We're very sorry that happened.
I thank you. He's apologized and taken responsibility. I just wanted to make it, you know, publicly stated that are not happy with that.
Right.
As the tenants of that location, that this
Wasn't handled well. Right.
yes, out of line, too much for what it was.
You got it. Okay, if you need to keep communicating with us, please come back. Yeah.
Thank you very
All right.
much.
Thank you, Andrew. Yeah.
I would like to make a comment towards that, because I know for a fact that Mr. Jones contacted Mr. Connolly, and they were singled out. Connolly Agency was singled out.
Private businesses,
But
that's
that's,
long here.
but you know what? If that's public knowledge now, and don't tell us. that
Public
that
knowledge
didn't
because of a
happen.
city document that had no business being a city issue. It was not a city issue.
I
It was
believe
between
I have
two
the floor right
individuals.
now.
And it wasn't
I
between me or
Hey,
you. You don't
Andrea.
need to-
Yeah, let's see, Andrea,
Yes.
But
what
it
if,
wasn't between me or her. I don't wanna discuss this.
we're gonna do something a little different here. You're not on the agenda.
Right.
Why don't you go outside and see if you need to get on the agenda? You know, if you wanna keep
I'll be
discussing,
fine.
or you can
don't-
clean up your, think about it and.
No, but I just wanted, I didn't want it to be a policy that, oh, that was all lies. So, because I know that for a fact. And that's all that was
Disagree,
say.
okay. All right, thank you both.
I know, I'm not saying that that was a lie. That was not the fact I was disputing. I was disputing the items listed out prior to that statement that had anything to do with any other private business owner. The only reason I brought the private business owner into it was because that was on a document listed with our name, and that is not city business. What happens between two private business owners? What I am here saying is factually incorrect, is the information that was listed in that document as part of the communication between the agreement between the city and the landowners. That's all I'm disputing. Now, what is beyond that between the two business owners, that is between them as far as I'm concerned. And that is not me, and that is not anybody else in this room, except for her. But that's not her, that's all I was disputing, and I want to make that clear.
Very good, thank you. Appreciate your passion. Thank you, Ms. Jones.
Thanks.
Yeah. Like, come up, sir, come on up. Yeah.
My name is Todd Hoffman, I'm a resident of the county, but. I'm here to talk about the stray cats and the feral cats in this community. You talk to anybody and they say, yes, it's an issue, we need to do something about it. My wife and I, Deborah, have started on this program. We have purchased traps on our own. We've presently spayed and neutered about 19 animals from the community, and of those, I think 4 or 5 have been sponsored by individuals who said, yeah, we'll pay for one. When they're trapped and neutered, they're also vaccinated against rabies and infectious disease. They're also treated for external parasites and internal parasites. Feral cats can transmit diseases to people, most notably toxoplasmosis. It's in the feces of cats. Cats use litter boxes, playground equipment or play stand areas. They also use flower beds. People gripe about that, but there's also a reason behind this from the standpoint of infectious disease. So they can carry around worms. There are zoonotic diseases. So in addition to seeing all these cats running around, there is some consideration for public health. I guess the other thing is that once we got into this, we found 20 kittens in one block behind the courthouse. They're all about 4 to 6 weeks of age. We were able to socialize and re-adopt about, I think, 14, 15 of them. But that, there's a new round coming out. That was only one block. So we've been doing this more or less out of pocket. And the cost to do this for cats probably right around $140, $150. And you say that's expensive, but they're also being vaccinated and treated for that. So the veterinarians are working with there's enough price after this. It's actually a pretty good deal because we've shopped around for this. And so I guess what we've come up against is we need some sort of municipal participation. If it's a municipal issue, then people have concerns about it. 2 people can't do this. And so there needs to be some sort of budget for this problem. If the council decides it's not a problem, it's not a problem for you guys. But I think that we've had proposals, let's just shoot it, let's just poison them, let's just take them out of the country and dump them. That's inhuman, it's cruel. This city can do better than that. That's not a solution. Because passing the problem into the countryside is just plain cruel. And I don't think we're going to be known for that. So I've been trading in Ellsworth for 23 years. moved here about 2 years ago, from Colorado to get out of the city. Love Ellsworth. But I think there's some things that really bother me. That's one thing we can help resolve. Other communities have, funding for this. You know, it can be one of those things you give someone a voucher to spay or neuter an animal. That's taken to an event, just that you reimburse the veterinarian. So there's no money making scheme here. It's just, so the trap neuter release program, once these animals are neutered, they're reintroduced back into their existing colony. That cuts down on reproduction of the cats and the baby. So then the kitten problem becomes less and less as this program takes effect. You know, so I think, I don't know how to fund this from the city's perspective. You need to agree that it needs to be addressed, and there needs to be some sort of budget consideration. Because Joe and I cannot continue doing this out of pocket. It's all there is to it. I'm a retired veterinarian, I've got some value considered, and I guess it pains me to see these stray sick animals on the loose. And it's also, you know, a public health concern. There's rabies, there's the internal parasites, external parasites, fleas can transmit disease. So this goes beyond this, there's a stray cat. And I think the other thing is, to me, I look at this and go, wow, this is too bad, this is even allowed to happen. So that's all I have to say, and, you know, like I said, I don't have a solution for the fund, but there are programs out there where the municipalities get involved. There's nobody taking a profit from this. It's just basically trying to get this done. And 2 people can't do it. You know, it's a citywide problem. It's not a debt problem. So that's all I got.
Thank you. What, if I could ask you a question, what kind of funding would you need to start off with?
I would think if we could do, we're costing around $140 to $150 per animal. And so we're not asking for transportation costs. We're just basically need to cover the vet costs. And so, I would think if we have 15, 20,000 a year, maybe a lot of animals come to that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's an outrageous amount. The other thing, my wife had an idea, if the city has a building that we could set up to the headquarters of, and we could be probably more cost efficient if we could bring somebody in instead of transporting these animals for surgery.
It's not a bad idea, something like that.
So, you know, I'm not proposing an ordinance. The other thing they do is they notch their ears, so people can know that these cats have already been neutered. So if we re-traffic them, you know, we're not gonna do anything. And we're not after people's pets, we're after feral cats.
Right. Very good. Any other questions for him? You got his information? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Does anybody else like to speak publicly here? Yes, sir. Come on up.
Hi, my name's Earl Helms. I live on 315 West 11th Street by the swimming pool and by the school. We already had an accident over here 2 weeks ago, 2 cars. I would like to see a stop sign put on 11th Street, 2 of them, and move the school zone signs down past 11th and school zone signs up by the elementary school. These kids are getting out of control around here, and they're speeding up and down the streets, they're racing all over the place. The police department doesn't seem to want to do anything about it. And when swimming pools open and stuff like that, we've got kids walking up and down that street every single day. And it's not gonna take much longer, we've already had 1, 2 crashes, somebody could be killed. I'd like to see something done about it.
Any questions? Is Chief of Police here?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Did you hear all that?
Yes, sir.
All right. Maybe you guys should have a quick conversation and. Oh, you've had plenty. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
I will get ready to.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Anybody else who'd like to come forward, speak publicly? Mary, come on up.
And I live here. And I have, earlier actually spoke with Patrick. Which whom I wanted to ask to come up here and get a little bit of an idea.
Okay.
Just a second. I have several things. Actually, I was going to do two. But I have two. The first thing I want to talk about is to say that this week alone, I've had two people from the council censor what I was to say today. Silenced me in what I was to say today. That's wrong. There should not be any censorship. That topic is now over. I'm on to my next topic. Taxes. That's too much for this town. There are people who are struggling. Granted, I'm not one of them, but there are people who are struggling. That is too much for one, ought to be done all at once. They need it done in 3 steps. I've had people who come to me online, or they email me, or they find me at Hattie Joe's. They come in there and they talk to me. Patrick wanted names, and I did not give out names. I did not give out names. These people don't want to talk to somebody on the city council because they're afraid something so bad is going to come back on them. So they don't want to do that. That is their choice. They would rather go through me. So I'm going through me. You guys, also when you're talking, city speak, you need to remember that not everyone has a university degree. A lot of people here graduated high school. We have some who never got the chance to graduate high school for one reason or another. They are not stupid people. But what you need to do as a collective, when you're talking city speak, break it down for those who don't understand or don't have a clue what you're talking about. That's a very important thing, okay? And like I said, nobody wants their names used because they don't want to have flat come back at them in one way or another. Because in a small town, it sometimes happens that way, which is a terrible thing. That topic, I'm done. Third topic. The girls, Patrick, this is for you two.
I'm listening.
Oh, I want your input, like we get along. The girls. As in, the girls in the office is disrespectful. Terminology is terrible. It's humiliating. It's degrading. Jessica, what was your response when we discussed the use of the girls? How did it make you feel? What did you say? We talked about it.
It's outdated and disrespectful.
Patrick, what did you say?
I said I understood what you were saying, is what I said.
And
I don't. I do recall.
you agree.
No, ma'am, and Mary, I appreciate you having the right to do public comment. You do not have the right to come up here and tell people what other people are saying. That's why I wanted to talk to you. This is exactly what I wanted to. But I appreciate meeting with you. I wanted to talk to you before the meeting because I hear from people all over the town. Mary's gonna say this, Mary's gonna say that. I had to talk to you one-on-one. So we had a meeting one-on-one so I could say, what are your concerns? You shared with me some things, other things you didn't want to share. Now,
chose not to.
at the same time, if people want to come and talk to council members individually or staff individually, they have the right to. But I have an objection to you coming and telling people on the record, on video, you are saying what we call hearsay in the law. You are saying somebody said this to me and I'm saying it to you, but we don't have the opportunity to go to the original person whose name you own and find out what they really said, if they said it, when they said it, what they meant by it. And that is my complaint, and that is what I was not trying to censor you, ma'am, but I was trying to make sure that we have proper, productive city meetings. And you asked me to come up here, so yeah, it's your fault that I'm here. I'm not passive, but anyway, it's your moment.
I understand what is the use of the girls.
I don't have anything to say on that topic. I wanted,
Back at the table.
I said, I feel I understood what you were saying. That is all. I didn't say I agreed with you. I didn't say I didn't agree with you. I said, I hear what you're saying. But it's not fair for you to try and put me on the spot. This is what you're trying to do, is you're trying to you just put Jessica on the spot. It's not right. This is your public comment. This is your 5 minutes to speak about things you think are important. You have that right. You should get to it. You shouldn't try and bring other people's input into it.
Okay, so the next one has you
5 minutes.
No, she's given 5 minutes per subject. So.
It's for subject, I'm up to number 4.
So read it. I'll read it again. For all comments, please state your full name and whether you're an Ellsworth City resident. All comments are limited to 5 minutes per subject unless city council has further questions. So go ahead.
Okay. My next one, and this
We're gonna
was
change it if we need to.
discussed earlier. There is a group that I would not name names of who were members of this group, or would not give out any intel on them. But there is a sizable group of people, not only in Ellsworth City, but in the community, in the state, and in other states, who collectively are collecting information to present to the ICMA ethics review process, which is this right here, if you want to look at it. And Patrick did say it was the best way to go about it. This is in regards to job performance or inability to perform a job. Dustin. Topic done. Final topic. You guys did a lot better over the phone. We were working together again, and now you're not. What is going on? Why can't you guys just get along and stop arguing? I just wonder. Because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous to have a person up here saying, why can't you just play nice? Whatever you do outside the business, that's whatever your relationship is outside of business. I don't care if anybody hates each other or whatever. It doesn't need to be in here. It has no business.
When in the
Now
last two
you're-
meetings have we argued?
What?
When in the last 2 meetings have we had an argument up here?
There haven't been any, but it's all coming back. There was some discussion just earlier and loud voices arose. And
We
two
were all getting
people were talking at the same time. And I want to see everybody getting along again. And I don't want to put names to it. There's been emails and things to me. And I don't want to be in the middle.
So don't reply to people.
Don't reply, we were getting all fine until you showed up tonight.
Actually, really,
Yeah, I think we were all doing great until you showed up tonight.
Don.
And I've talked to you about it, and you even told me that I was.
Let's go ahead and let's just wrap this up. Mary, you about done with your comments, you think?
So you're picking it up yourself,
Yeah,
so I don't care what you put on Facebook or write a letter to the independent paper. People know you, they know what you're about, you just take care of it yourself. Don't drag us into your problems.
that's not my problem.
Okay, then quit bitching about it.
Don.
Hey, guys, let's look if you can take that offline, but I think you.
Anyway, I'm not gonna get mad saying any cuss words. I'm just saying, we were getting along great until you showed up tonight.
You know what? You weren't.
I thought we were, don't you, Dan? Will we get along good?
We got a long night. Yeah, Mary, I appreciate it. Thank you for coming. Yeah, any other questions for Mary? All right, sir, would you like to come back up? Come on up.
Just, like looking for, total we had amended numbers. We've got a total of 25 cats. 5 of them have been sponsored, by sponsors covering the vet costs. And we raised about $55 in the collection charge around, the community. So in that this program. And we've had citizens for that. I guess the other thing that crosses my mind, we're visiting sponsor a cat, and then the city council match something like that. I mean, just kick around ideas, but I know Deb and I can't keep doing this. All right.
25, the number's 25. Okay, thank you.
Actually, 26.
26. One more today. More guys running around. Yeah. Anybody else, public, comments? Okay, anybody else? No one else, all right?
Yeah, let me do something good.
All right, come on up, sir. You get 5 minutes per subject, come on up.
She, had mentioned something, my name's Earl Helms again, about taxes. She mentioned something about that. We are getting tax death around here pretty bad. And I don't know how many senior citizens are in this community, but I imagine it's probably about maybe 65–75%. And the rest of them are working class people. With seniors here are on fixed income, and you guys will want to keep taxing us more and more every year, which money we don't have out of our social security. I'd like to see something done different about that. Or another way to pay for your guys' stuff that you guys can get fixed or whatever. Try to look out for your seniors that do live here. Because most of them can't pay for this stuff, it's gonna have to move it out. Or you're gonna foreclose on their homes because they can't pay for nothing. So things should be on, maybe we'll look at, think about before you guys make all the decisions about who's gonna pay for what.
Were you by chance at any of the previous budget meetings?
No.
Okay, so, and I don't know if you have access to internet, I think if you go on there and if you rewatch our meetings, because that is a possibility. You will see how much we actually are fighting to get that down. We have knocked it down a bunch. We paid taxes just like everybody else, so we don't want to pay taxes any more than you do, so. I hope that helps a little bit.
Well, any little bit helps.
Yeah,
It needs to be something that needs to be done to help everybody.
Sure. If you go back and you look at the films I'm talking about and the videos, you'll see that the communities came out needing 150 mils. I mean, we've worked it down to 90. We're trying to go further. We're hoping to go, like, do what we can. So, I figured maybe you hadn't been at those meetings because we've all discussed our displeasure where it's at right now. So I just thought you might appreciate seeing that if you have the time.
Well, they're seeing something being done with it. That's good.
Yeah,
Right.
and then one other thing which will help is, you know, we're gonna have a 1/4% sales tax issue coming up that goes off. That 1/4% is, I always call that a sales tax, is a fair tax. Because if you're spending money, you're paying that 1/4%. That generates what, $113,000 a year for the city, a 1/4% on purchases. And like Slide is that we're 8.75, and Slide is like 11. I think Hayes is what, 10? So we're below on the sales tax. That's one good way that's fair, I believe, to everybody is on the sales tax. Just that 1/4% helps that much. That's $100,000 we will lose if that does not pass. So that's something I want voters to know about. You don't get it there, it's gotta come from somewhere else. So I hope we pass that sales tax issue, which will save a lot of out-of-pocket taxes on property taxes. Does that make sense what I tried to say?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Sometimes I'm thinking that my mouth's not working with it.
It's just, it's not fair for the seniors have to pay that much for taxes to get. It is, you all just keep that in mind, because there's a couple of you guys might be seniors, you guys can become be seniors, give me the same boat I'm in.
And in defense of like Dustin doing the budget, when I was on city council 15–20 years ago, and Ralph Robbins, some of the city guys can vouch for this, we had equipment fund accounts. There was like $80, $90, $100,000 in the fire department for a new truck. There was $30,000 or $40,000 in the city street for a new truck. There was $20,000 or $30,000 in this equipment fund for a new police car. Water and sewer, they had their trucks and equipment. There was equipment budget. The past city administrators, for some reason, decided to rob Peter, take all that money, put it in the regular budget and spend it and take away the equipment budget. So what happens now? We need a new police car. We need a new dump truck. That money had been squandered in years past. Those reserves are gone because of poor management previously in the city. And we're trying to get that back. Correct me if I'm wrong. Is that right, Dustin? We're trying to get that back where we have some reserves so we can pay that. I think a new fire truck's around $300,000.
Well, that's probably true. That's like $600,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
The same token is you're trying to get extra money out of seniors that don't have the money to give.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say to you.
Yeah.
But you need, well, you need to figure out another way.
Yeah.
You need to basically find out another way to be able to do
I
this.
hope you can come up with one, let us know.
Well, trust me, I might come up with some. I come up with several things me and Dustin talked about, but.
Yeah.
Looking at fees, we're not, ad valorem's not the only way that we can raise revenue. But the other way is housing, the other way is increase working on our zoning code, so we can increase more people moving in, there's a number of ways.
Yeah, and then have something here for the out of staters to come and see and stuff like that. And this Ellsworth is a very, good little town, and it's got a lot of history. To promote that history, to do stuff with that, so you have people coming in to help you pay for these extra expenses and stuff like that. That would be a great help.
Really.
Yeah.
We're already working on those things in the background.
Good, so I've got.
All right, Dave, thank you so much for speaking twice. Appreciate it.
I have a comment to make after his comment, please.
Go right ahead, 5 minutes.
This
per
is
subject.
I don't know. This is just to make you, let you guys be aware of something that you may not know, but Great Plains is furloughing every employee. Come November, they will not reopen until January. And they may not reopen in January. That is from the vice president and so on. So that's the elder plan. So a lot of those people are looking for work and they're moving out of the city.
All right, anybody else, public comments? Anyone else? Let me get back to my screen here, I've got it right here. So moving on to unfinished business, the first item is public building commission appointments.
Just wanted to know where we were at on that process.
Got a couple, I really want to get some new people in here, and it's challenging when I think Marion Horth was a really great acquisition. So I kind of want to do that again, I want to go out and find some new people that aren't involved in the city. I think that's always good, so we'll get something together. I mean, we're in no bind to get somebody immediately, are we?
No,
Okay,
just so you know, you will have 8 graduates of the program that you can choose from as well.
there you go. Let's go down that list and see who would be interested, because it's not a lot, it's just, they've got to, yeah, but it's a good stepping stone for them, so that's good. All right, the 2025 budget adoption, agenda item report 24-184. Dustin, want to present it?
Yep, I delivered on what you wanted me to do, which is which is cut 4 mils out, so this is a budget of 90 mils. I basically tried to equalize the payable on departments. I have lower several items, including capital improvement, some repair budgets, because that's, other than that, I don't have anything else to pull from. So this is where we're at 90 mils.
What is that? I mean, who was Dale, last week was talking about that's 38% tax increase. What would this be percentage wise?
Percentage wise. So we're at 70 more million, we're at 74. So you're looking at about 18%. With 90 mils.
That dropped quite a bit, didn't
Mhm.
Yeah.
I want to reiterate some of my recommendations. We should not touch wages. And I don't think we should go backwards and try and spring out of the water sewer.
No.
I don't think.
Chief, did we say we would use?
I agree.
a little bit this year?
What part?
Did we say we'd use a little bit of it this year to help some the budget? Be able to do it without that.
I'm able to get it to 90 mils without it, but I don't recommend even pulling a little bit from it. I have tried to show you that I am spending the money that is left over. As you can see, we are executing on getting our valves replaced, getting them tested, getting the issue, like, for example, one of the big wins this week is at the right next to the courthouse. We were only able to do one section of it as opposed to two because of staffing, but that was just solving a long-term problem. And that's what getting proactive about getting on these projects does, is actually repairing problems. They've had multiple backups over the years, and then we just go clean it out. Those backups are being caused by infiltration through poorly capped T-sections. And so, just through using the crew and using projects to get these little prod things replaced, and it cost money to do those. Like the repair down south, the dry riverbed, that was a repair that was just done. Or replacing the water meter at the prison, because that's been leaking and that's causing erosion around the water meter. We need money to start getting this stuff done, because going back to the budget and the discussions, a lot of these projects, in my view, have been put off over the years, and they're just getting more and more expensive. And the longer we wait to start confronting these problems, the more expensive it's gonna be.
Yeah, on your, going at 90 meals, I want to make sure that we did not lower any wages or benefits for the city employees.
I have not touched those, no.
Okay, good, because if you lower those wages, it's gonna cost you more money in the long run to replace those people when they quit. Plus, their attitude and their performance is gonna drop, which is actually gonna cost you more than if they quit, you gotta retrain them.
So in the report that I sent you, it was really hard for me to combine comparable cities. I did my best, but it's really apples to oranges. But I do want to specify that most of our staff is either paid on the low end or right at market value, for as close as I could find for cities of this size.
I'm glad we're not, relying on, our employees' salaries to lower our budget. That would be fair to them.
Based on the percentages that I sent you, most of the cost is personnel. Because what I'm cutting is their equipment budget. What I'm cutting is their budget that we use to equip them. Most of the water sewer crew, most of the police crew, the ones that are in the elements every day, are working off of average vehicle age of 15 to 20 years. And this is the equipment that they have. And so on the outside, you could look at that 60 to 80% personnel budget, be like, we need to slash personnel. Like if you're looking at it from the outside, but the bigger part of the story is that that's the staff maintaining what they have, working with the limited resources. Again, and they've actually maintained it in the city for a good long time under those conditions. And so I commend the staff for doing that, because they're here because they want to be.
It looks to me like you have done everything we asked you to. We were at 30 something meals. You've lowered it down to 18. We got it down to 90 meals, which is only like an 18% increase versus a 36%. I think you've done a really good job with what we have to work with.
And I want to be fair to Mary. I think she's got a point. And I wasn't intending, when I proposed 100 mils, to have that be where we're at. It was a starting point of negotiation to mix what you're hearing from the staff and the 154 mils. And we're promising you that I get it to 90 to show you that I am all aware of the people that you are accountable to. And it was a negotiating piece. It was never a hardcore, I am at 100 mils, but it is, that's why I wanted the staff to talk to you, so you hear what I'm hearing and you're getting the reports that I'm getting, so that we can find a middle ground together while listening to our constituents and meeting in the middle, but also inching upwards, because we do have to make up for that shortfall to start equipping our staff. That's my philosophy. And so that's why I did it the way I did. I think I will do it differently next time when I propose things, but that was at least what I want publicly to understand what I was after. A mixture of that proposal mixed with all of our staff communications, all of our public hearings and all that stuff, was so that I wanted to make sure you were informed with what the staff is doing. And it's not, and I'm not batting out of left field here. I am with the staff every day. I've seen the gear that our police department has. I watch the water sewer crew have fixed water breaks in the middle of winter. And I'm thanking God they didn't get hypothermia. You know, those are the people who, and they don't get paid as much as Salina. So I'm competing with Salina for staff, and they stay here because they want to be here. And so I think it would, that's why I'm pushing back on the water sewer fund, don't do it, is my opinion.
Okay,
And
as of tonight, we need to approve this so it can be published with our headlines.
well, there's options. If you think that 90 mils is still too much, it is your budget. And you want me to cut more, then you will have to have a special meeting before October 1st. It is your call. I'm just, and I know that you have to meet your constituents in the middle. I'm sensitive to that. But I'm just telling you, my opinion is don't touch the water sewer fund, leave it where it's at. And don't touch wages.
I think you've done everything we've asked you to. So I have no problem with having it at the 90 mils. I really don't.
It's your call.
Because we've got a beautiful golf course, we've got the swimming pool, we got summer recreation, we got library. We've got we've got an excellent police department, excellent fire department. What more could a small community want that we already have? And those things need to be paid for.
And I want to commend the staff because the staff has done a lot of stuff that I've pushed them to do. I have pushed the staff to get on projects, so obviously, and you've seen them deliver on projects. It's slow and sloppy in places, but overall I'm proud of them. I have pushed the streets crew to get more repairs done and get more training done and try their best to try to spread the reasons. I have pushed the city clerk's office, you know, and they have performed phenomenally. You know, between Mariana Help and me, she has done a phenomenal job. I've got a load of ordinances that I'm presenting to you tonight. Because she is going through that ordinance book and she is not having a great time. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mariana. You know, she has gone through the resolutions and the ordinances, which is something that we have known about since I got here. She is getting the issue fixed. I have got HR that is working on, I know a lot of people that's a questionable move, but let me tell you what I walked into. You know, the personnel files were mixed, were not in line with law. It could have been a liability issue. We had payroll errors that go back 4 years that we're still correcting, and by putting her on that and having her, that's her full-time focus, we are almost done. We still have some issues with IRS going back 4 years, but I am assigning these people to focus on problems that are long-term. Just because it was stable here doesn't mean it was being done right.
Okay.
And so
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the budget proposal for 2025 of 90 meals per Dustin's recommendation to the city of Ellsworth.
I'll second that.
All right, Counselor Panzer does it need to be a roll call vote or? Okay, so we're gonna do a roll call vote. Counselor Panzer has made a motion to approve the 2025 budget. Counselor Renard has seconded that motion. Darcy. Don.
Aye.
Aaron.
Aye.
Jessica.
Aye.
And Tyler.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. We're gonna go ahead and approve the 2025 budget adoption for 90 mils and an 18% tax increase. Moving right along. Moving on to ordinance 3151, amending the month of elections for city council president from May to January. This is just a cleanup item.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3151, an ordinance amending the elections of city council president from the month of May to the month of January.
Second.
Counselor Nard has made a motion to approve ordinance 3151. Counselor Coates or Counselor Hanson has seconded that motion. Any debate? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Moving right along, ordinance 3152. This has to do with an ordinance amending the code of the city of Ellsworth. That was ordinance 3137, establishing a minimum housing code in the city of Ellsworth.
We're just changing the number.
Yep.
it's just
Okay.
cleanup item.
So,
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance 3152 to remove section 6I from ordinance 3137.
I'll second.
Counselor Nard has made a motion to approve ordinance 3152 to remove section 6I from ordinance 3137. Counselor Coates has seconded that motion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, moving right along. Nay. All right, here we go. Okay. An ordinance amending section 10.6 of the Uniform Public Offense Code for Kansas City. This is the BB gun. This is an ordinance amending section 10.6. Air gun, air rifle, bow and arrow, slingshot, BB gun, or paintball gun of the Incorporated Uniform Public Defense Code for Kansas City's 40th edition as incorporated by ordinance 3147, prescribing additional regulations to section 10.6.
That's just gonna make it where if you got to, you talk to the chief and you do it, we doesn't have to be brought back, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, that sounds great.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve ordinance W 3153 to allow for the proposed amendment to Article 10, Section 10.6 of the current UPOC.
Councilor Nars made a motion to approve ordinance 3153. Councilor Costa seconded that motion. I'm sorry, Councilor Hanson has seconded that motion. Any debate, concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So the next item would be the water sewer rate analysis proposal. Dustin, you want to describe that to us?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. So, we originally tried to partner with, Kansas Rural Water Authority to do the rate analysis. However, when Angela started digging into the questionnaire, she realized that there was a lot of things that she didn't feel comfortable doing. And so Kansas Rural Water Authority recommends Carl Brown. You've already done business with him when my predecessor was here, but now I've been requesting to utilize the services again because now we're accounting for the lagoons. I am going to request him to account for the 2 lift stations that are getting pretty old, especially the one at the prison. And just overall coming up with a new rate structure to account for all the projects that we're working on to bring our water to reverse, to account for Brian Foster's recommended list. So that we can start tackling these projects. But there's one package for water rates, one package for sewer rates, so it's a combined total of $16,946. Angela and I are requesting help to do the rate study, so this guy comes recommended. He did give us a huge discount because we're Kansas Rural Water Authority members, but it's still over my purchase limit.
Just to clarify that it's only for water sewer, it doesn't include your on-site or your additions. So that's.
It's gonna be more.
Yes.
So the studies from 17 are no good?
They only
Cause
account.
we never jacked them up from that, I mean, we didn't do it, yeah.
No. And there was only for $2 million on collection and $2 million on distribution.
And that's not gonna, I mean, that's.
Not for the lagoon.
Yeah, the total lagoon, and that's a whole different deal. Well, we gotta have somebody figured out, we've used him before, he did good.
And we're looking at a $10 million project
Yeah.
with a $2.5 million loan forgiveness on the project. Why wouldn't we want somebody that's qualified to come up with that plan for us? It's kind of a no-brainer. We have no way to make that. So yeah, I make a motion that we allow Dustin to proceed with the audit of our sewer water determination, sewer water rates as per the requested.
All right, Councilor Panther has made a motion to approve the water sewer rate analysis proposal. Has anybody seconded it? No?
I'll second that.
All right.
Do we need to put the
Time.
price on there?
Not to exceed what, 17?
20 with incidentals.
Oh, 20, okay.
Because as you stated, there might be some additional site visits.
I'll second that.
All right, Councilor Nars has seconded that for a top limit of $20,000 that we agreed to.
Yes.
All right, any discussion or debate?
Where does this come, what budget line does this come out of? Is it like water sewer projects or is it like the water sewer budget itself?
I was gonna pull it up projects, but if you want me to pull it as something.
Oh, it makes sense to go with projects.
Yep.
That's what it's for central.
Thank you for reminding me about just.
All right, any other comments or concerns? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. Next item on the agenda, liquor and cereal malt beverage licenses.
Just kind of a rundown.
Yeah, you want to do there, just run it down?
At the last meeting, Jessica asked about it, because she was asked by a community member. So this is a presentation of the information that we have. We have 2 spreadsheets available, in the clerk's office of who has which type of license, if you guys would like to view it. And then Mandy, by statute, has to notify cereal and malt beverage license holders 30 days before their license is expired. So that is something Mandy will do, at the end of November. And then the liquor licenses, we don't have to do any notifying. They are responsible for taking care of those themselves through the state. They just have to get us their state information so that we can get them a city license.
So the only time it needs to come to council is when it's like outside of their, like, building, right? It's like when OAG for their. Which would mean that when you did your street dance. Otherwise, you guys in the office take care of all of that stuff. Super duper.
Okay, any other debate here?
Thanks for calling.
Yep. Okay. This is agenda item report 24-185. Would anybody like to make a motion?
We need to, just an FYI, right? We just an FYI, yeah.
Okay. All right, new business, resolution 2024-21 waiving gap. Any questions about this one?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve resolution 2024-21 in order to waive the gap requirements.
I'll second that.
All right, President of the Council, Coates has made a motion to approve resolution 2024-2021 waiving gap. Council Renard has seconded that motion. Any debate, any concerns? All right, hearing none, all in favor, say, go ahead.
You didn't do this in January, because for some reason I was thinking that I made a motion then.
This is 2025.
Yep, oh, for next year. Gotcha, okay, I see it now. Thank you. Thank you, sorry.
All right, yep, hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. So this next item is to approve the hearing for the condemnation of 304 North Douglas. We've already had the public hearing, but we're just gonna have to approve it at this point, correct? Or not, yeah,
It's your decision.
yeah.
Well, I mean, we're not.
Or
I mean, yeah, but I mean, it's last October this started, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's been almost a year and there's nothing done. How many?
15 years.
But yeah, 15 years. I mean, I'm thinking we do it, and if they wanna, they can mess with it. And we get, I mean, then they gotta do something.
Forgive me.
Because to me, it don't look, I mean,
I don't disagree. What I'm worried about is
the other building,
the,
let's figure that out.
So can we amend it, Patrick, like you were saying?
I mean, it's an unusual situation, but
Yeah.
but I fall back on, the city inspector, because I'm not a building guy, and we couldn't let him be there if it was unsafe. But if the inspector says it'd be safe for them to use part of it. And it makes sense, right, because this is is this attached garage or semi-attached or? It's attached.
Yeah, it's not safe.
But, I mean, I guess it'd be up to you guys. You've heard from city staff about part of it might be okay. I think it's up to you guys how much you want to say is unsafe.
Well, I'm with the guy we paid to look at. He says it's one building's good, the other one ain't.
So we amended, so.
Yeah.
But if we're just saying that there's part of the back of where the independent reporter is that is having some foundation issues. Do we need to have them do that? Or?
And the other issue here, I guess, we do not want to get, the city really doesn't want to get in between two other businesses, right, which we're kind of close to that. Which the tenant could also take it up with their landlord, that's kind of between them also, if they think it's not appropriate. That's a different discussion, what we're saying is whether or not it's condemned or not, which is a pretty serious standard. Dylan, have you been inside the building?
I have not been inside the report.
So that may be one reason why he hasn't, we include that in his report, is he hasn't been inside, so.
Maybe it doesn't want to go inside.
If it would help, I could go look at it and bring this back. But I don't know how you want to handle it.
I just don't know what they're waiting on. I mean, any type of, typically, any type of insurance isn't gonna cover if it just falls naturally. It's
No.
gotta be a peril cause. So, I mean, I don't, as an owner, I don't know why you wouldn't want to get it down and out of the way.
Well, if it fell naturally, the city we would probably. Yeah, at that point, we'd probably be forced to do something about it.
Sure.
Realistically, that because it'd be unsafe to other people, so that's what the whole concept of doing this.
But I think I'd want that liability risk out of my, back of my head. That's if I don't do it, so. You never know, one kid that's a block away from the school, you never know, walk through the alley or something.
I'd be in favor of amending this to not, so it's just that structure
Yeah,
that
just that
you gave us.
Yeah, that's what I'm-
Just the garage or shed or whatever you were referring to. I would be in favor of just condemning that,
Yeah, yeah.
if there's a way that we can.
I think if that motion passes, we'll rewrite that for signature. I would do. Or I would staff though. So three of us should put that in first.
We table this to the next meeting to make the amendments. And then
And then we approve the amendments.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's been over a year.
It's 2 more weeks.
Yeah,
I agree, let's table it.
cool.
Do we need a motion to table it? Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to table agenda item report 24-179, the condemnation of 304 North Douglas.
I'll second that.
Counselor Coates has made a motion to table the agenda item report 24-179, the condemnation of 304 North Douglas. Counselor Bernard has seconded that motion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hearing none. Motion passed. Okay, very good. We get tired, I'm sorry. So consideration of parking lot, we just went through that. Moving on to department heads, city inspectors, you want to come on up?
Okay, we talked about salvage yards, and we were gonna make a exception for them to be storage yards. We're gonna make if we want them fenced or
Right.
what we want to do, and we've never went anywhere, and that was in January.
Was, yeah.
And I guess we need to do something, or there's a possibility we can get out and let the state handle it, turn the state, which takes it out of our control. I just don't know what we want to do with that. If we have several businesses, we need to either do something or not. Right now, they're out in the open. No fence around or anything.
I mean, we were planning to complete the process, so I'm not sure what happened.
Well, we switched attorneys, so we tabled it, and we didn't get around to it.
Okay,
So we're trying to circle back.
right, okay. I think from what I remember it, he was hung up on the terminology a little bit. The length of the fence, how far it had to come out.
Yeah.
And we were willing to be flexible and all of that, but it was, we need to kind of create a separate ordinance for what would he consider more of a storage. Vehicles moving in and out rather than just junk.
Yeah.
So it was kind of a minor change. That's where we were. Everybody seemed to agree to that. He seemed to be fairly pleased with it, but I don't know if you talked to him since then.
Yeah, I didn't really have any guidance to give because I don't want
Right.
to overstep my bounds.
Right.
Then we'll get started. I'll draft the ordinance based on whatever, we'll go back to the minutes and once the meeting, I'll get the ordinance drafted over Patrick and them and talk to Joe, make sure he's all right with it, and we'll get it moving.
Okay.
But that's the goal of the
What
council.
are the other, there's other properties too?
Well,
So they're gonna be storage yards or junk?
yeah,
You're gonna,
I don't really want to name them, but
yeah.
yeah, there's several of them.
And I see it as, I see both points. You know what I mean? There is just junk. It's just gonna be left there, then they're using it for broken things that are in need of repair. They're moving out of there as soon as they get them repaired. That is a little bit different. So I can see where they want to be categorized differently, but probably the enforcement side of it's gonna be almost the same, won't it? Yeah,
I mean, I don't think there should be fences where the state doesn't say there should be a fence.
There is supposed to be a fence.
Well, I know, Joe does, yeah. I don't think everybody else has to have a fence, do they, from the
That's the
state?
state regulation.
If you're a
If you
junk
copy
car,
this.
but what if you're not even living?
If you have over 9.
Oh, it's nine.
Yeah.
Nine. Okay. Well, good luck on that, dude. Good luck. That's gonna be very fun. It's gonna be fun. At all.
What is it they don't want, the fence?
Then you're paying for a fence, bro, like a chain link fence, it's gotta be so high with the slats in it, I mean, you're talking thousands, like thousands of dollars for people
I mean, you
that
can,
have never had to have them before.
if you're gonna consider it a storage instead of a junkyard, I don't think you have to have the slats in it.
Well, that'll save them a little bit.
Yeah, there's also, according to the state's regulation, there's also gonna be trees and other things.
Yeah. Plant some trees, it'll take 20 years to grow. That'll work, I guess. We'll see.
And Steve has some stuff.
Okay. Well, continuing on with the junk car theme. This is going to be regard to individual residences. So before I get started, first of all, I want to just real quickly touch on what constitutes a junk car, because a lot of our people out there, residences, have a vehicle that's broke down, they haven't been able to tag it, whatever. They feel like if they can get a tag on the vehicle with current registration, that it is no longer a junk vehicle. That's not true. Technically, any vehicle that's inoperable is a junk vehicle. Now, I don't plan on wanting to go around and hit up on people that their car broke down and they're waiting for somebody to get it fixed. However, I have residences here and I did just a quick drive, I say quick, drive around. We've got probably 150 or 60 vehicles that are sitting around in yards that are not operating. I have 2 residences right now that would actually qualify as junk yards, because they got over nine vehicles in their property. So, last year we did a campaign where we were around trying to get everybody to get their trees trimmed up, and that was fairly successful. So the plan was to try to do a fall campaign with and on junk vehicles. I'm not talking about the other stuff you guys were just talking about, but the plan, in my mind, I wanted to start off and go after people that had more than 2 vehicles in their yard. That gives people benefit of the doubt. You know, one of their vehicles broke down and they just don't have the time or the money to get it fixed up right now. I'm not necessarily wanting to go after that kind of stuff, but we've got people that have multiple vehicles that they're just been there for years. So what I need to find out from the council is, because you're obviously, if we start this process, you're gonna be getting calls from people. And so I want to know what your thoughts are on this, and is this something that you want us to pursue, or do you want to not pursue it? Don't everybody talk at once. First thing is, what makes you think we're going to start getting phone calls? We already are. That's the starting part, coming to talk to you.
And all this is by ordinance.
Yeah, and here's another thing, I'm glad you mentioned that, because part of this whole issue of code stuff is, we've had codes here for years, but they've never been enforced. So we're in this process right now when we go out and try to enforce a code and everybody's going, what about them? And at the same time, they're going, well, no one's ever said anything to me before about that. Well, I know that's because it wasn't being enforced. So the bigger question here, I guess, is do you want code enforcement? So 2 things to think about there. And I think, like I said, for as far as the junk vehicles at residences, I would like to start off with
And I want to do it as a campaign, because what we would do is, we would, put this up on Facebook. We would put an article in the newspaper about it. And then we would start off and we would tell people, drop off a door hanger and say, hey, you've got these vehicles back there, you need to do something with them. And with a vehicle like that, I think we're not gonna give them the normal 5 to 10 days to do something like we do with nuisance violations, but probably more like give them 30. So they have time. And, you know, if you got it, and I've had in the past, I've had 2 personal vehicles that I had to deal with. The first one I sold to salvage, and they gave me $100 for it. And in the other case, it was a little more valuable, and I got $500 for it. So, I mean, you can get a little bit of money out of those things. There are people that will buy those vehicles just for nothing else from the net. So there's options out there besides the people having to take a hit for getting it. But if they get towed off, and we talked to, I talked to Joe Ray, and he won't tow a vehicle unless he's got a court order. So the process would be this: we'd start off with door hanger, give them 30 days to take care of the vehicles. If that did not happen, we would then issue a nuisance violation, giving them some more time to take care of it. That didn't happen, they go to court. And I talked to the municipal judge, and if they've had adequate time to do that, then they're not against issuing a court order to have the vehicle towed away. So that's kind of the process that would go through. And so that's the plan. So I need to find out from y'all.
When you mentioned a campaign, it got me thinking.
Yep.
If we talk to Joe and we talk to,
George.
Who's got the other record?
George.
Who?
George.
Rob, yeah, talk to Rob, or Rob, or
Rob.
whatever. Talk to those people and see if they would be interested in removing a car off the premises, and their fee would be they get the car. So in other words, they could go up to the homeowner and say, I know you can't afford to have this towed off or taken care of, but if you let us tow this off and let the tower have the car for compensation, would that be a feasible campaign to try to do something like that? Rather than just tell him, you gotta do this, you gotta do this, or we're gonna do this. Give them that option first. Someone that has 6 or 7 cars may say, yeah, if he was gonna get them, that'd be great. That'd keep me from having to pay to do anything with them.
Well, see, I think we can do that. We can put something in like that. We posted on Facebook to give people some ideas about how different ways they can take care of it. The only problem you can run into there is a lot of times the vehicles that are left there don't belong to the person that's in the house. And then you get into mischief, because then, like, somebody like Mr. Ranker would take that vehicle and tow it away. Well, then he has to go through all kinds of hoops to get a title before he can do anything with that vehicle. So I run into that before. Just in fact, last week, I had one of the ladies that rents houses. She's got a vehicle she wanted to get out of there, and she thought she was going to pay for it. And I said, well, is it your vehicle? And she said, no. And I said, is it the renter's vehicle? She goes, no, it was 2 renters before that. And I said, well, if you call them, they'll come and get it. Then they apply for a title. After that, they look up with the VIN number, and they have to go to the state that it was licensed in and do all kinds of paperwork.
Would you mind talking to Joe and George and see if they would be interested in
No, I can do
doing
that.
something like that?
Sure.
That'd be better first step than just telling them they have to do this and have to do that, because nobody likes to be told what to do, but yet they need to clean it up. This would give them an easy out. In my opinion, I don't know, what do you guys feel?
I like the idea. I think it's a good idea. I think also they're gonna have an answer for you. They probably thought about this before, they're in the business. They've seen it work, or they've had friends try it, it didn't work. So I think you're gonna get a quick answer. So I think it's good.
If it works,
quick, yeah.
If it works, fine. If it don't, then we'll go in.
Yeah.
I'll do some investigation, and then I'll come back at the next meeting and let you know what's going on.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that gives them benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
Fire chief. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, Steve. quickly, I wanted to go over signs. We had some complaints regarding signs. I've already got a solution, but I just wanted to put it out in the open. That after talking to constituents and after talking to Steve, our intent was good, but we also learned that our process can be better. I have asked Steve to return the political signs to the owners with the understanding that they need to put it on their private property. Some of the feedback we got was, it would be nice to let them know first before we take it, and so.
Could you just put it on the porch?
But, and I think we could have just put a thing, I mean, I know there's a lot of them, but I think before I was getting complaints of, who is this guy and why is he walking off with my sign? Why didn't we just put it on Facebook, a reminder? Because I read the ordinance, it's wordy, it's lengthy, it's not clear. It would not have been so hard to just put a thing out that said, reminder, if you have signs, this is where you can put them.
And I agreed with that, and I heard your feedback, and so we're gonna try it differently. I just wanted to at least let y'all know that we are listening and we're responding.
I like the idea, if they are in violation, just put it up on the porch and they'll get the end.
I mean, at least they would take it.
Yeah.
Somebody that didn't know who took it.
So just some clarification here, as far as I know, there was only 2 political signs per se that were removed from property. And one of the people that was involved in that had cameras up. And I could see the video. You can clearly see the city of Ellsworth code enforcement truck sitting in the tree. And me, as it appeared to be a skinny guy, as opposed to somebody else could have been out there. At any rate, I'm like, okay. So what I'm gonna be doing is I make up door hangers for different things. So I've got one specific, like for if you water on the wrong day, you throw grass clippings in the street and trees, and that sort of thing. Because we have so many different violations, you can't list everything on one door hanger. So I'm gonna make up a door hanger, and basically what I'm gonna do is I'll put that on the house. I give them 72 hours to, and I'll tell them on there, they just need to move their sign into their yard. Now, in another case where a person got a sign, they didn't put it on there. Some campaign outfit came along and stuck it there. And one of them was within, well, this far away from Douglas Street out there, which clearly was definitely not a good place for it. And then when I was removing that, the neighbor lady came over with the same sign that someone had put in their yard without permission. So some of this stuff is going on. Some of the people know there's get a sign out in their yard, and some of them probably don't even know there's a sign. But what we're gonna do is put the door hangers up there, tell them that they got 72 hours. If it's still there after 72 hours, then we will retrieve the sign.
Is that solution acceptable?
But I think you just put the sign on their porch. I
Yeah,
don't
that's what
think
I'm
we
saying.
take
Just put
the
it up on the
signs.
What are
porch.
you gonna take?
Yeah, don't take it. Just put it on the porch.
And if they have questions, then they can call the city hall.
Yeah,
Just one less headache for everybody, right?
yeah. There's no need to stir the pot.
Yeah.
Understood?
All right. Because the porch parts.
There you go. That's right. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, council.
Chief, come on up.
Oh, this is a skinny guy on video.
Just asking who is he referring to? No, anyhow, just got a couple of updates, just so you're aware of what's going on. Sure that you're aware of, I was able to work with Troy, the street department. We've gotten the storm brush pile burned down. That's gone, taken care of. That was a week ago Friday. And if somebody asks why, if they drive by the station, they keep seeing an empty bay. We did have a truck go down, lost an engine on it about, it's been 4 weeks ago now. And we have, just today I got word, we have located, and we have the okay, we've located a used engine that's actually in a school bus sitting down in Rice County. The school district has, they're willing to work with us because the VOTEC wants an engine to rebuild. Works out really great. I've gone down and looked at it, and so we're in the process of getting that. I am gonna hire that out. I've got the budget money to do it, but I need that truck back, so we're not going to do that one ourselves. We're actually gonna hire it out, plus we get into code issues. Not code, but engine code issues. that we don't have a reader, nor does any heavy truckers, anybody in town have the capability to do them. So that's in progress. I talked to, Dom Truck today. Hopefully I will get him the other engine, the end of this week or the first of the next week, and he's thinking within a couple of weeks, I'll have a truck back. And I'm pretty comfortable with the route we're going, save quite a bit of money over, putting in a new rebuild, and I'm pretty comfortable with what we got. So we're working on that there. The other thing is, you've heard me talk about the Knox boxes, and we now have several, locations that are getting those up and operational. I'm very pleased with that. EMS is pleased with that. The Pines actually got the first one up. I signed off on them for the school district and for the county offices. I think they're a good thing as the community becomes aware of it. That better be tested. So anyhow, I really just a real quick update as to what's going on. Every month the run report is forwarded to Dustin. We seem to have a lot of semi wheels up there recently, but that's just the nature of what we deal with. So just quick, if you got any questions, let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Rob.
Chief. All right, is Patrick back there? I don't see him. Hamel, no. Chief Petty, you want to come up?
Only thing is that, Sergeant Williams went over the calls for service from last month, the last council meeting, but now you'll have a printout of them added to the paperwork. The only other thing I have is I know there's been concern about, truck traffic down Douglas. In the past, I got some information this last week that there may be a route that I can take to try to curb the truck traffic downtown. So I'm gonna do a little more research on it, and if I find out that what I was told is true, then we're gonna start doing some enforcement, try to get that truck traffic off the city streets.
We agree.
All I have.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate that.
Chief, did anyone else get a hold, was he supposed to, or is that you, Dustin, about the 2-hour parking signs? Were they supposed to contact the police department?
They're on us.
They're on us, okay. I just want to know about the 2-hour parking, if anyone's contacted Dustin about that. Okay, that's all.
Thanks for your participation in her run Saturday night too. Yeah, thank you, yeah. All right, rec director, Ron, you want to come on up?
I don't have anything.
Okay, all right, thanks, Ronnie. Yep, streets, is Troy out there?
I don't have anything to do.
Okay.
That's sorry.
All right, David, is he out there? Nothing, David? Okay. All right, we're wrapping this up. City attorney, do you have any comments?
Yeah, well, council would like to ask for an executive session at the end of the meeting for client privilege. Hopefully just 15 minutes, we might need longer, I don't know how long we'll do tonight. And I also wanted to say earlier during the public comments, I got more frustrated, I try and keep good decorum, it's always a goal of mine. I'm frustrated on behalf of the city of Ellsworth, and it's really not about me personally, it's just I like our meetings to accomplish things, and when I see things get in the way, it just gets me frustrated sometimes, so I apologize for that.
Apologies.
All right, man.
It's all right. City clerk, Mariana, do you have anything? Nothing, okay. City administrator, 2 items, go ahead. 3, go ahead. Yeah.
Flag Trees Park, I've approached Legion. And we're coming up with a plan to put the flagpole back up there, utilizing my connections there. I've also been working with Troy on spraying. We did have a constituent who was concerned about the contents of our spraying. Or fogging, so I did answer her email and bring her the information. I haven't heard from her since, so I'm presuming it's okay. The third thing, I'm doing a victory lap, the 11th Street Sewer Project, after 4 revisions and multiple back and forths between our engineers and KDHE finally approved the plan. So I now have approval to move forward and get that project in the books. Close that one out.
Thank you very much.
Kirk and Michael was a big help on that one, so. But I will get it done for you. Yep. That's all I have.
3, okay, very good. City council, Tyler.
No, nothing.
All right, council president Coates.
A couple of things. All right, I asked about chickens a lot. Are other fowl allowed in town? No, no fowl of any kind. Okay. And then a big thank you to the city because Ronnie was really great, letting me text him kind of last minute bit saying, hey, is the rec still available? Because I had to pivot from Freezing Park on Saturday to the rec. Because we thought it was going to just bring cats and dogs on our fight for the light. So we had a really great attendance. I think we had 62 people participate in our actual run walk on Saturday. And so I got a lot of really great compliments about that walking path out there. Because we had a handful of people bring their strollers and they liked that it was nice and wide versus the one at Freezing Park because people could walk in groups and talk and couples could walk together and still push the stroller and not be out in the street. So thank you to everyone who helped support that, everyone that showed up, everyone that didn't come but still bought a t-shirt from Refined Design because we're taking Refined Design with cut a check straight to Central Kansas Mental Health Center from those t-shirt proceeds. So it was a really great event. And if you have any questions about how it went or want more information, just get a hold of me at the extension office.
Commissioner or Council Jim, yeah, I looked it up because this has come up before. I thought the city code says you can't have domestic fowl. Years ago, somebody asked me about a different kind of bird. So if someone has a specific bird issue, we had to parse out what a domestic fowl is. But generally speaking, ducks, geese, chickens are not allowed in the city.
Okay, thank you.
You can always change the ordinance though. Yeah. And we'll take a shot at it. We want to get through taxes first.
I will just tell you, since you brought it up, my experiences as a government attorney is, fireworks are always bring out people for controversy, taxes bring out people, and then chickens is the third thing.
I think Canopolis and Salina have, right?
I don't remember, Canopolis has gone back and forth.
Yeah, but Salina does have. Yeah.
I highly encourage you to talk to your friends over in Canopolis about their.
Yeah, they had a bad experience, yeah. Salina, they pulled it off, so, are you done?
That's it.
Okay, Aaron, did you have anything?
No.
Don, did you have anything?
Yes, I do. There's been a cone at Fourth and Lincoln. There's a sinkhole there where you step off the curb. There's been a cone there. Is that a city cone or is that a personal cone?
It's a city cone.
It's a city cone? Okay, because I noticed it looks like it's dangerous if somebody's walking at night, step off into that hole.
Yeah.
They could fall into traffic or something. That's something you might want to look at, getting that taken care of.
We've already looked at it.
Okay,
Troy, what's your plan?
When we get time to address them, so.
okay. I just didn't know if it was our cone.
There, just.
Or, because it was just a little bitty cone, so I didn't know if the homeowner put that there, or if that was our cone. At least it's noted where it is dangerous, we're good there, okay. The other thing is, we talked about. The individual that owns the trailer house up by the USD offices. And we were told after harvest that would be taken down and moved out. I think harvest is over, isn't it?
Yes, well, that one, I actually spoke to that individual today. And I reminded him that, the city council had, that thing in their crosshairs. And, he was waiting on getting some sort of trailer to haul his backhoe or something. Anyway, I kind of feel like he's kind of stringing me out a little bit. I told him that if nothing was done with that thing, that he would be on the agenda come October 28th. So that's my plan at this point, because we are already sitting in a nuisance violation. And that was back in February, I think, or March.
Is the owner a city resident?
No, it's out there just off of the interstate.
Huh? Oh, okay, I think I know, okay.
And so, and then he actually started down the path of, well, you know, I gotta plant this and I gotta do this. And I said, well, that's all well and good, but I said, if you don't get that out of here, I said, the city's gonna take it out and you're gonna pay for it, so.
Okay, very good.
Yeah.
You want to stay on that, please?
Yes, sir.
That's all I have.
All right, very good. Counselor Coates, did you have anything?
Thanks.
I'm sorry. I can tell you. Counselor Hanson. Okay. All right, so it comes to my comments. So I had a chance to be with Alan at the round table with Senator Marshall a week ago Monday. And that was great. I think that he appreciated Ellsworth County and the city for handling our own affairs. That was the message. And we kind of went around and in each entity talked about their special challenge. And, you know, I tried to spend as little time as I could talking. And I think I accomplished that, so, I let everybody else speak, but it was good to see, county officials there. Superintendent of schools was there, Micah was there, so it was good, the hospital was there, so. We do have some unique challenges, but of course, the big thing that came up was housing. And it's a challenge, that I mentioned, and it's everywhere. So, it's not only a challenge here, but it's everywhere. So it's something that if we can kind of tackle that, it seems to be the key to really unlock a lot of opportunities. And so made that point, of course, Stacy put the program together, it was very successful. And, but I just appreciated going there. Then I had a chance to go to the aviation flying was on Friday. So we appreciate the airport. There was a ribbon cutting there. And met a few folks there. They enjoyed that. And then Saturday night was the Run for Light, right? It was a
Fight for the light.
Fight for the Light. So it was a run and appreciated Jessica putting that out. So just a good week overall. So I appreciate all the opportunities that we have here. With that said, let's go to executive session for 15 minutes for. Was it attorney-client privilege this time, or is it gonna be? Okay. All right, let's see what we have here.
Mr. Mayor, consultation with an attorney for the public body related to issues involving privilege and attorney-client relationships to include governing bodies, administrators, and attorney, and come out at 7:30.
All right, Council Costa made a motion to protect the, go to the executive session. Attorney-client privilege. Constitutional.